We're going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to bring Dwayne up here in just a little bit to get our program going. However, I would like to do a couple things beforehand, just to kind of give everybody an idea of how this is going to roll out. First of all, now that we have a couple more people here, I'd like to take this opportunity we talked about earlier, Hall of Fame inductees, and how we have had a good number of outstanding athletes and coaches that are currently in our Athletic Hall of Fame. At this time, I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce, we have 3 here tonight that I'd like to mention, and if when they hear the name, they want to stand, do a dance, or just literally just put their hand in the air, that'll be fine. We'd like to recognize you that you're here. The class of 2003, Matt Pincus. The class of 2013, Mr. Troy Ohl. And the class of 2018, sitting in a different role tonight, Mr. Brian Maggot. Inductees, when you come up, we will hand you your plaque. We will take a picture. Once we take that picture, you'll come up and go ahead and make your presentation. Just for FYI, anybody that wants some extra programs, we have plenty. Feel free to come up and ask. We'll make sure that you have some to take home with you. Without further ado, I'd like to bring up again our Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Dwayne Bachman.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Our first Hall of Fame inductee for this evening is Ryan Booker. Ryan was a 3-year letterman and starter for Piqua football, and also lettered 3 times for the track team. He made his presence known in both sports. However, his success in the football program is what people remember Ryan for the most. He started 39 games as a defensive end and running back for the Indians that were undefeated in 1991 and were Greater Miami Valley Conference champions in 91 and 93. In all 3 seasons that Ryan played for Piqua, the Indians made the state playoffs. Ryan earned special team all-conference his sophomore year. His junior year, he was first team all-conference Dayton Daily News, all-area, Piqua Daily Call all-area. Ryan's senior year, he earned a number of honors, including first team all-conference, Dayton Daily News all-area, Piqua Daily Call all-area, first team all-Southwest District, first team all-Ohio. In addition, he was given the Battered Helmet Award for the Piqua football program. Ryan was also voted to play in the North-South All-Star game in Massillon, Ohio, where he was named the MVP for the defensive line. He was also selected as one of the top 33 players in the state to represent Ohio in the Big 33 game against Pennsylvania's best. As a starter at the Big 3 at defensive end, he recorded 4 tackles and a sack for 18 yards against the best of the best. Ohio went on to win that game 35-20 over Pennsylvania. Coach Neese said he was a real leader and technician with speed and strength, with the ability to split blocks better than anybody he has ever coached. Ryan resides in Piqua with his wife Teresa and his 4 children, Josh, Jackie, Abby, and Jack. Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Booker. Our next inductee. He's got to speak. Come on. The microphone's yours, Ryan.
Hello. I'm not very good at this. Basically, I just want to thank everybody. Everything I did was for the city of Piqua. All my coaches, all the way from Pee Wee, Coach Ohl, all of them, man, Mr. Gold, Everything I did was for you guys. Coach Neves, he taught me everything. Most famous people I want to thank are two of them. My brother and my mom. Thank you.
Our next inductee is Kyle Brandt. Kyle was a three-year letter winner in wrestling and set the bar as one of the top wrestlers to ever compete on the mat for the Indians. He was a three-time state qualifier that included finishing fifth in the state his junior year and third at the state tournament his senior year. As a sophomore and a junior, Kyle was all GWAC honoree and in the 25 win club. Kyle's senior year, he racked up quite a few honors, honoring including first team All-Ohio, first team All-GWAC, GWAC North Wrestler of the Year, and was the first wrestler to win back-to-back Greater Miami Valley Wrestling Championships in the Association Holiday Tournament. In addition to his outstanding individual accolades, Kyle led Piqua to the school's only league championship his senior year, claiming the GWAC North title. Kyle has held several school records, including most wins as a sophomore with 42 and most wins as a junior totaling 44. He accumulated 147 career wins and amassed a total of 423 career takedowns. Kyle has taken his wrestling career to the next level as he is currently the assistant varsity wrestling coach for Piqua. He's committed to helping build young men on and off the mat and not just be as good as he was, but even better. Kyle and his wife Anna reside in Piqua with their 4 children, Braxton, Banner, Lavender, and Bishop. Ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Bryant.
Alrighty. Staying close up this thing. I want to start by thanking the community for the honor of being inducted to the Piqua Athletic Hall of Fame. When Chip first called me to let me know I was being inducted, it took me a few weeks to realize I was going into a group of individuals that included Olympians and professional athletes, along with Coach Neves, who's been a staple of Piqua athletics the last few decades. It was a little nerve-wracking and also an honor to realize someone looked at what I had accomplished and thought I deserved to be included in this group. Growing up wrestling, I had a large support system around me. My family, my friends, coaches, all pushed me to achieve my goals. I could stand here all evening and name all the people that had an impact on my career. I'd like to take a moment and recognize a few of those individuals. The first being my parents. I can't exactly remember the age I was when I first told my dad I wanted to be a state champion. But I want to say I was around 8 years old. From that moment on, my parents did everything in their power to give me every opportunity a child could ask for. From sending me to week-long wrestling camps to finding clubs I could wrestle in year-round. The best coaches and workout partners to train with. They even converted their garage into a wrestling team. My dad, being the people person he is, was able to get me in with a group of a select few kids that were allowed to go to Graham during the summer wrestle. Kids from all over the country that would attend the Jeff Jordan State Championship for summer training. I believe this is one of the greatest opportunities I've given. One memory I have that made me realize the sacrifice my parents made to me is my dad's work boots. He had these boots with the soles were falling off, holes in the side from wear and tear that he actually had to shoe glue back together. I had been disrespectful towards him one evening. My mom was yelling at me. She pointed at his boots and said, "You need to remember what your father does for you. He works outside, needs a new pair of boots, but it's time to pay for summer camps for you and your brother." My dad chose to glue his boots back together so that we could have that opportunity. And that really stuck with me. I can't tell you the number of times, number of hours we spent driving in the car back and forth to St. Paris for workouts. But I can tell you I am beyond grateful for everything my parents did for me. And being a parent myself now, I hope to live up to the example my parents set. I live up to the example my parents set for my own children. Now the second person, a man named Aaron. Going into my sophomore year, I wasn't going to wrestle anymore. My parents, along with my high school coach, Scott Kay, and some of my then teammates convinced me not to give up on the sport permanently. So I decided to go out for the team that winter. I had what I would call an okay season. The league tournament that year I got third, and with how I was wrestling, the state tournament wasn't a realistic goal for me. Dad, once again being the people person he is, ran into and started talking with Aaron. Aaron graduated from St. Paris in 2006. He was a two-time state champ. My dad convinced him to come to our house that following day and wrestle with me, and to see if he could help me turn things around. When I walked into the garage to work out, I see a man who maybe weighed 125 pounds after leaving an all-you-can-eat buffet. I was 16 and wrestled 152 pounds. I walked into that practice with the typical arrogance of a 16-year-old high school boy. I can say with confidence that was one of the hardest 2-hour workouts I ever had. I remember warming up and drilling like a normal practice, but at a much higher pace than I was used to, and being told that every time I did the smallest thing wrong to fix it. Once we started going live, I didn't get a takedown for the rest of practice. And after he looked at me, he had barely broken a sweat while I was completely worn out. He looked at me and said, "Don't bring that attitude tomorrow." And from that point forward, we started working out 4 to 5 times a week. He took a kid that had gone third at the state tournament, or third at the league tournament, who had fallen out of love with the sport, to a state qualifier. But more importantly, he got me to fall back in love with wrestling. Aaron and I spent roughly the next 18 months training together. Unfortunately, he isn't here with us today, but I can't thank him enough for everything he did for me. Lastly, my brother Hunter. He took over the high school wrestling program last year, asked me to come on as an assistant. At first, I was hesitant. I'm married with 3 young kids, 5, 2, and a newborn at the time. After talking over with my wife, I decided to take on the challenge and get back into the sport. It reminded me why I love wrestling so much. It's not about how many wins you have. If your goal is to win a state title or just get healthier. It's about pushing yourself as hard as possible day in and day out. Surpassing what you thought was your limits and proving to yourself you're capable of more than what you thought you were. We're only a year into coaching, and I've already seen it. And I look forward to continue seeing young athletes over the coming years. One day I hope to be back in this room and watch one of our athletes receiving this award. But till then, I want to thank everybody for coming out and for the honor of being inducted into the Athletic Hall of Fame, and I hope everyone has a great evening.
It's a pleasure to introduce our next inductee, Tara Tressel-Larison. Tara was a commanding force for the Lady Indian volleyball team during her tenure at Piqua. While her time as an Indian was almost 30 years ago, she is still on the record books at PHS for most kills and blocks. Tara played on volleyball teams at Piqua that simply dominated their opponents, tallying up over 80 wins in her 4 years wearing the blue and red on Piqua. As a freshman, Tara was part of the team that won the Greater Miami Valley Conference and district championship and state runner-up. Her sophomore, junior, and senior year, she helped lead her team to the GMVC and district championships. Tara received many awards, including earning second team all-conference as a sophomore. Tara's junior year, she earned first team all-conference, second team all-district, and honorable mention all-Ohio. Tara's senior year, she really racked up the local state awards, being voted first team all-conference, district player of the year, first team all-district, first team all-Ohio, and being named to the state and district all-star games. Tara also was a big contributor in basketball, where she led in pursuit season, and also in track, where she earned 3 Marshall letters. In track, she won multiple first place awards in the jump, 1 and 200 meter dash, and the 4x1 and 4x2 relays. Tara earned a 4-year scholarship at Wright State University and made an impact on the program as she recorded 165 digs, 17 aces, and 8 double-figure dig matches. Her junior year, she earned 16 digs in the season opener against Evansville and 9 digs at Miami, Cleveland State, and Bowling Green State University. Her senior year, she was honored with the award of Most Improved, recording 245 kills. Tara graduated with a bachelor's degree in international business and also had the opportunity to study in Brazil. Currently, Tara is a supply chain manager for Northrop Grumman. She resides in Beaver Creek with her husband, Kevin. They have 3 daughters, Harper, Kirsten, and Taylor, along with her son, Haven. Tara also has a 2-year-old granddaughter, Aurora, and the second grandchild on the way in January. Ladies and gentlemen, Tara Trussell-Love.
Guest speaker. All right, thank you guys. I'm very honored to be here tonight. I should first warn you, kind of like Kevin, even though I've had many successes on the court and in the workplace, I need to apologize up front. Speeches are never something that I was good at. Same with cooking, so I'm sure my family is very thankful for tonight as well. Chip, I'd like to personally thank you for all that you've done for making tonight and the last few days happen, for all of us being honored tonight. To make my long story very short, a list of my successes, or a lot of my successes started with my parents. My dad always pushed me to limits I never thought were possible, and my mom was always there to support me through the good, the bad, and the ugly. On top of that, I was lucky to be raised in a small town called Piqua, where I was able to experience a sense of community, open door policy, and trust with almost everyone in town. And learning success can come from even small places. Every coach I had in every sport was top-notch, setting the bar high, just as Coach Need still continues to do to this day. He's not listening. Early in my college career, I was fortunate enough to have met my husband, Kevin. From day one, he became my biggest supporter, continually challenging and pushing me to achieve anything that I wanted in life for the last 24 years. We've raised 4 amazing children and enjoying our first granddaughter, Aurora.
Halfway color. Oh. Tonight with a rabbit. My mom has taken me the right way to drive. Thank you. Our oldest son is currently following my footsteps and a freshman at Mount Vernon University on a volleyball scholarship studying mechanical engineering. Our youngest daughter, Harper, 11 years old, is trying out for her first club team
And our granddaughter Aurora scored 4 goals in her first soccer season at the age of 3. Each one of them, in their own way, teach or remind me on a daily basis how to be a better person. Despite loving the game, being on the court, competing at high levels, or competing in anything really, the majority of my success is now because of them. They silently push me to set good examples, make good decisions, and to simply always do the right thing in every situation. My hope is that they too can receive the best reward as I have, a fun, happy, and successful life. Lastly, I'd like to congratulate everyone being honored tonight and commend you on all your past and present success and wish you nothing but the best in the future. Thanks.
Our next honoree is Ken Maggot. Ken played football and basketball all 4 years of high school, earning a varsity letter in 3 of those years in each sport. Ken played many roles during his time on the football field for the Indians in the quarterback, defensive back, punter, outside linebacker, and other positions. In his underclassmen years, he earned first team All-GMVC, as well as honorable mention All-Dayton Daily News his sophomore year, and the Red Gable Award his junior year. In his senior year, he was a North-South All-Ohio All-Star nominee, awarded first team All-GMVC as defensive back, first team All-Area, first team All-Southwest District, and second team All-State. His team successes included a 3-year record of 27-3 with 2 GMVC championships, a perfect 10-0 season, and 3 OHSA playoff appearances with a 5-3 record. In baseball, where Ken was a 3-year varsity letter as a catcher for the Indians, he earned honorable mention All-GMVC his sophomore year. In his senior year, he was awarded first team All-GMVC, first team All-Area, and All-Ohio All-Star Series. Ken continued to excel in both football and baseball at Woodburn as a 4-year varsity letter winner in both sports. In football, he again played multiple roles as quarterback, outside linebacker, and punter positions. He was named second team All-NCAC his freshman year and first team NCAC his junior year. Ken's successes carried over to the baseball field where he was the catcher and outfielder for those Tigers. He had a breakout freshman year. He was named NCAC Rookie of the Year, awarded first team All-NCAC, as well as being named first team All-NCAA Baseball Regional Team. He was a second team All-NCAC honoree his sophomore year and first team All-NCAC his junior year. As a senior, Ken was the captain of the team and won on to earn second team All-NCAC that year. His impact remains on the record books at Whitburn, where he holds his number 2 spot for all-time career RBIs. He sits in the top 5 in the leaderboard in career home runs, hits, and total bases. Ken resides in Sydney with his wife Amy, and there's their 3 wonderful children, Jared, Lindsay, and Sophia. Ladies and gentlemen, Ken Maggot.
Thank you, Mr. Brockman. First of all, how do you follow that up? I don't know. I, too, want to say thank you to the committee. It is an honor to represent all the past winners and the Piqua City High School and the athletic department. Also, want to thank Chip Hare. I know it's been a ride from since January to now as we have made this event happen. And everybody else that also was involved in the process. I do want to make a couple introductions here. He introduced my family, but my high school sweetheart and our Amy Maggot back there in the back. We just celebrated our 25th anniversary this year, and I gave my 3 children. 2 of them are at Wittenberg right now, Jared and Lindsay. And then my daughter, who's a sophomore at Sophia Maggot at Langland. My brother, Brian Maggot. Interesting, you mentioned a couple of the records I had at Wittenberg. Unfortunately, my brother broke those records. Fortunately, he did. And then I got Kyle Maggot, my brother and his family right there. I do, like as Brian said earlier, we are a product of our coaches. And one thing I had in my time at Piqua High School was I had some great coaches. First of all, obviously, Bill Neese in the back. I was on his first team when he first started coaching 31 years ago, and it's hard to believe that Piqua High School has only had 2 coaches in the last 4 years. And Bill Neese had learned a lot from him, especially on the defensive side, that carried over to when I was in college. And then the second coach I played for under was also my dad. My dad coached me my first 2 years, and what an honor that was in that time period. One thing I can say is the good thing, and Troy, I know you're going through this right now with your son. Thank goodness we only lost 1 game as in the regular season. The only other game we lost was in the playoffs. So, then also I want to recognize and say thank you to Rick Golden. Rick was my baseball coach Coach, we many times we played ball together. High school baseball, Legion baseball. And he was a mentor to me as I continue to be, as I grew past a player, I became a coach at some point in time, and I coached the Legion baseball team for a while, and even coached my son at Langland, and Rick was always there, and things I learned from him over the years helped me in the groundwork where I am. The other thing is, I do want to say, as accomplishments that we have as adoptees, some of the accomplishments that we have is because of the great players we play with. I'm going around this room right now, I'm looking, I got Ryan Booker and Damian Booker, Matt Finkus, Troy Ohl, Tony Lyons, my brother Brian, and there's many others that we played with. I remember the times when we were back in those days, those were times where, one, we competed, we loved to play good competition, and we expected to win. And that was brought on by our coaches that we played for. With that, we did share a lot of really good memories. And I know it's been 30 years since I played, but there are a few memories that I do remember when I played back in the day. One was my sophomore year. The very first year, Piqua High School baseball we played a, coach, you remember this one, Cincinnati Fairfield. #1 team in the nation. Comes to Piqua High School. And, I don't remember many games, but you played so many, but this one stood out to me. #1 team in the nation, comes to Piqua High School. I was starting catcher. We threw a little southpaw out at them, and we had the team we put together. Coach, they were hitting bombs out of right field, foul on us, but we snuck in there and we beat them. I had no idea what the score was. Don't ask me. I have no records out there I can find. But, to come back and beat the #1 team in the nation, that was here in Piqua High School, that was a great honor. My sophomore year in football, first year we made the playoffs ever at Piqua High School. One thing that really stands out to me is we were on the verge of not making the playoffs because we were waiting for another school, whether they had an eligible player or not. And we got in, and back in the day when we had 4 teams that made it for a division, we were Division I at the time. And you recall, Coach Lee's defense won that game, Matt. We won our first game 3-0, 3-0 against Grove City.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan Hume getting the winning field goal. Defensive struggle, but mighty little Piqua makes the playoffs in Division I, and we go on and we show out well and end up winning a couple games, and we finally got beat. My junior year, one of my favorite memories. We were playing Troy at home. To this day, play down at Horse Stadium. To me, I love Brookfield and I love Alexander Stadium, but nothing as good as Horse Stadium. When you're looking around, when you get there, we drive from Piqua High School, we come into the field. Is it wrong?
No.
Okay.
I think I know what you're talking about.
All right. So when we drive up there, you get a crowd of people that are trying to get into the gates. You're getting all fired up. You're playing Troy. You go out there and you go out and take the field. You got the TP. You got the WDTN, the balloon they used to have. There's 4 or 5 deep in the end zones trying to watch you. And we take the field. We're warming up. Fire stuff. We're looking around, there's no opponent. We're doing our thing, we're doing it, and we're getting warmed up, we're going through it, and it's awkward. There's no team that shows up. All of a sudden, about 2 minutes before game time, bus pulls up onto the side, and here comes Troy off the bus. They had warmed up on their own field, and they come in and they try to surprise us. And the best thing about that night was we slapped them 24-6. And which again, so that was a great memory. I don't remember any details about that one, but that was a great memory because you can't beat playing down at Horse Stadium. Senior year, same thing, and it's a testament to Brian Booker into the room. I like some things that he did, but we got a chance. I love the rivalry stories. We played Troy early in the season. Unfortunately, they got the best of us. And we had the chance to avenge a loss, which, again, what time do you get a chance to avenge a loss against your rival in high school? And so we got to play Troy twice in 1 year. Matt was on the team. Then Ryan scored I can't remember how long it was, Ryan, but to this day I remember he turning around and waving by. Again, it was great to be part of that. Those are great memories that I will live with forever, and and I am honored to be not only play with all the players I played with, and to be coached by the coaches I had. It was a very big honor. I was able to move on and play some ball at Wittenberg. Again, the success I had in college was because of the time I had in football. I started off as a quarterback in college, ended up playing linebacker. And albeit the things that Coach Neese taught me as a defender, I was able to translate, and it helped me have those opportunities as I was able to continue to play. And continue to play baseball as well. But again, I had the opportunity, and the foundation that was laid here at Piqua High School helped me out. With that, I do want to say it's an honor. I really appreciate it, and thank you very much.
At this time, I'd like to introduce our next Hall of Fame inductee, Caleb Miller. Kelly's a young lady who made a big impact athletically and academically at Piqua High School and during her college years at Bowling Green State University. In her 4 years at PHS, Caleb was a leader on the volleyball team, earning a 3-year varsity runner award. In addition, she was a basketball cheerleader and competed on the track team her sophomore year. Kayla lettered in track that year, competing in the 100-meter hurdle and long jump. However, where Kayla made her biggest presence known in the bowling alleys throughout the state of Ohio. When Kayla entered her freshman year in high school, Piqua didn't have a girls bowling team. She, along with her dad Craig, inquired about starting a team to compete. Having been a bowler since she was 5 years old, Kayla wanted to bring her passion of bowling to the high school level. With her father as the bowling coach that year, Kayla became a member of the first girls bowling team at Piqua High School. In her 4 years as an Indian, she was not only a trailblazer for starting bowling PHSF, but set the bar for future bowlers. Some of those honored including multiple first conference honors tournament, earning first team All-Ohio her senior year, and finishing in 5th place in the state bowling championships. Kayla continued her bowling career at Bowling Green State University, and she was also left her mark in the record books. As a Falcon at BGSU, she was a 4-year All-American. During her career at BGSU, Kayla placed first in 2 tournaments, placed in the top 5 at 7 tournaments, placed in the top 10 at 4 tournaments, and placed in the top 20 at 15 different tournaments, beating out over 150 other bowlers at these tournaments. Kayla's career high game with bowling for BGSU was 268. To cap off her bowling career, Kayla helped her team go to the Nationals in Wichita, Kansas her senior year. Kayla graduated from BGSU with a degree in nursing and is now an intensive care nurse. Kayla is also the current junior varsity bowling coach for Piqua High School and resides back at home where it all began. Ladies and gentlemen, Kayla Miller.
I feel like I'm going to be reading everything that he just said, but it's okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming. I'm so honored to be here tonight. In high school, I participated in volleyball, cheerleading, and track and bowling. However, I found most of my success with my bowling career. I'm sure you're all curious, how does one become a bowler in this day and age? I actually started bowling at the age of 5 in a youth league at the Piqua bowling alley. According to my parents, my aunt had been a part of this league, and they thought it might be something I would enjoy also. I, however, had a different idea as to why they signed me up. We had just recently moved to Ohio, and being an only child, a clumsy one at that, I think my parents were desperate to help me make friends and build some coordination skills. Sure enough, not only did bowling become something that I enjoyed, but also something I ended up excelling at. My scoring game progressed rather quickly. During my time in youth league, I used to compete in many different types of tournaments. One of my favorite tournament memories was bowling an adult-child Scotch doubles tournament with my dad. With each of us alternating frames, we ended up bowling a 300 game and winning first place in the entire tournament. After my many years in youth league and entering high school, I was greatly disappointed to find out that Piqua did not offer a women's bowling team. At that time, there was only a men's team, which included only one female bowler. With the help of my dad, who had coached me through my years of youth league, and the Piqua athletic department, we were able to assemble Piqua's ever first women's bowling team. I was ecstatic. My bowling career would continue. I'm extremely grateful for my high school bowling career. I had so much fun during these 4 years of bowling. I formed tons of new friendships, both on my team and with women of opposing teams, made many memories, and had much success. One of my favorite memories during high school bowling was bowling in my first ever multi-team tournament in Cincinnati, the Bearcat Classic. At this tournament, I led my team to victory, winning first place individually and as a team. Throughout high school, my scores continued to rise, and I was able to leave my mark in the record book at Piqua High School. I ended up setting the high single-game score record my junior year, 268, and then set the high 2-game record of 530 and 3-game record of 681 both my senior year. My most exciting achievement, however, was advancing from the sectional tournament to the district tournament both my sophomore and junior year. Though my hard work and determination, finally being able to advance from the district tournament to the state tournament my senior year. At state, we were bowled 3 games. The first game went really well. I ended up having the highest game in the bowling alley. The second game started out on the same path, then out of nowhere the power went out. After waiting 3 long hours, the lanes finally came back on and the tournament continued. I finished strongly and ended up placing 5th in the state of Ohio. I truly could not have asked for a better way to cap off my high school bowling career. After my accomplishments at state, several bowling coaches had reached out to me in an attempt to recruit me for their college bowling team. At this point, I had no intentions of bowling in college, because I had already planned on attending college at Bowling Green State University, and I knew BG did not offer a women's bowling team. Sounds familiar, right? At this point, I had no intentions on bowling in college because, come to find out, the BGSU men's bowling coach was at the state tournament looking to recruit women to start up a women's program, and I was one of their prospects. It felt like fate. I had the luxury of being a part of Piqua's first ever women's bowling team and was given the opportunity to join BG's first ever bowling team. After spending the summer taking many trips up to Bowling Green and practicing with the team, I made the decision to sign on at BG. This had me super excited to go to college. I would get to bowl, get to meet new friends, and have new experiences. But things didn't go as I envisioned. Being a long way from home, my family, the people that I knew, and the places that were familiar, I became very overwhelmed. I was out of my comfort zone. The game that I had grown to know and love became much more difficult. I had to learn to overcome new coaching, bowling at a new bowling center, and learning to bowl on a sports oil pattern, which is what the pros bowl on. My average dropped dramatically. The competition became much more challenging. I started to become discouraged and bowling became much less enjoyable. Then a spark fired inside of me. My competitive nature and drive shined through. I was able to use the resiliency that I developed over the years competing in varsity sports during my time in high school to help me overcome my struggle. The love and excitement I had for bowling had come back. I began placing at tournaments again, and it actually ended up placing first in 2 tournaments, beating out over 150 other female collegiate bowlers. The highlight of my career, however, was being a part of the first ever bowling team at Bowling Green to advance to the national tournament, which was held in Wichita, Kansas my senior year. This was the best way to cap off my collegiate career and is a special memory that I will hold on to forever. I ended up graduating from BG in 2016 with a bachelor's degree in nursing and a minor in business. After college, I decided to come back home to Piqua to be with my family to give back to my community. Shortly after passing my nursing boards, I applied and accepted a position as a cardiac floor nurse at Upper Valley. After spending 3 years as a floor nurse and getting my grounding, I ended up becoming a critical care nurse in the intensive care unit at Upper Valley, which is where I currently work. After settling in my career, I felt like a piece of me was still missing. Come to find out, that piece was bowling. I began trying to think of how I could give back to the sport that had given me so much joy throughout the years. Then it dawned on me. I could follow my father's footsteps and become a bowling coach. I applied, got offered, and accepted a position as the junior varsity men's bowling coach for Piqua High School. Coaching has been such an incredible experience, and I'm so appreciative to have the opportunity to give back. It has been fascinating to see my path come full circle, back to where it all began at the Bowling Center. Looking back, I can't help but to think how fortunate I am for the opportunities and success that I've had throughout my life thus far. Despite all my hard work and efforts, there's absolutely no way I'd be standing here before you today without the love and support I've been given along the way. I wish I could stand up here, acknowledge and thank every person that has had an impact on my life, but there is truly not enough words to express my gratitude. However, there are a few people I would like to recognize and thank. First and foremost, my parents, Anita and Craig. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Words cannot describe how much I appreciate you. Thank you for always believing in me and for all the sacrifices you have made in order to help me achieve my goals and dreams. Dad. Thank you for being the best possible coach I could ask for. I am so lucky to have had you by my side. You have not only shown me how to succeed in sports, but also in life. You have pushed me to be the best I can be and expected nothing but success from me. You've always been by my side through some of the best times of my life and stepped by my side through some of the worst. You have not only helped me chase my dreams, but accomplish them. And for that, I'll forever be grateful. Mom, thank you for being my biggest supporter and #1 fan. You've been by my side every step of the way. You've always motivated and encouraged me to shine. You've never doubted me. You give me strength, courage, and confidence. Thank you for always being so proud of my achievements. I promise to do my best to continue making you proud. And lastly, to my grandparents. Thank you for all the advice and words of wisdom you've given me through the years. You're a wealth of knowledge and truly my biggest role models. I can't even begin to explain how much I look up to you and admire each of you. Thank you for showing up and supporting me, for all the weekends you spent traveling with my parents miles and miles across the country to spend countless hours in the bowling alley to watch me bowl. And lastly, I would like to thank everyone at Piqua High School, all the teachers, staff, coaches, and a special thank you to Chris and Cecil Stewart for nominating me, and to the Hall of Fame committee for selecting me. Thank you to our athletic director, Chip Hare, and everyone else that played a role in organizing this event. This has been such an incredible honor and privilege, an accomplishment that I'll cherish forever. Thank you.
Hello, Mark. Our next inductee is Piqua, who was unable to be with us this evening, but has a very impressive athletic resume that I'd like to share with you at this time. He played football and basketball all 4 years of high school. He was a 3-year medal winner in football and 2-year medal in basketball. Pete's coaches have described him as a great teammate who was a fierce competitor. Those qualities certainly made him a highly successful defensive end and helped contribute to Piqua winning the 2006 state football championship, along with playing the regional and GWOC championship. As a senior, Pete was named second team All-Ohio, first team All-Southwest District, first team All-GWOC, and first team All-Area. During Pete's junior year, he was first team All-GWOC and first team All-Area, and as a defensive end, Pete totaled 90 tackles, 18 tackles for a loss, 5 sacks, and 3 interceptions. Pete was offered and accepted a scholarship at Ball State University. As a 2-year starter and letterman on the PHS basketball team, Pete was named to the second team All-GWOC team and was voted on as a District 9 All-Star. Pete helped the Indians lead to a sectional basketball championship and a district runner-up. At the conclusion of his senior year, he was voted most outstanding athlete as he was a top rebounder for Piqua and for the GWOC. Pete earned a varsity letter at Ball State before he transferred to Weber State, where in 2 seasons he appeared in 21 games and recorded 52 total tackles, including 12.5 tackles for loss. While there are many highlights of Pete's career at Weber State, his black kick in WSU 4-overtime win over Northern Colorado was on to be remembered. Pete currently resides in Salt Lake City, Utah, and has 3 beautiful daughters, Eva, Priscilla, and Claire. Ladies and gentlemen, let's remember Pete Roth. Our final inductee for tonight is Coach Bill Neese. Coach Bill Neese has undoubtedly left his mark at Piqua High School as he's in the midst of his 31st season on the sideline as the Indians head football coach this fall. The lineman native graduated from school from Lima Central Catholic in '76 and was an All-Ohio lineman for LCC. Coach Neese then played football and graduated from Baldwin University in 1980, where he was a 3-year letterman and a starter on the 1978 NCAA Division III championship team. Coach Neese arrived at Piqua in 1987, teaching history and was the defensive coordinator for the football team until he assumed the position of head football coach in 1992 for the Indians. As the head coach, Bill has accumulated 22 wins along with 13 OHSAA playoff appearances, 9 conference titles, OHSAA Division II state runner-up in 2000, OHSAA Division II state championships in 2006, 4 undefeated regular season, and 4 state Final Four appearances in the OHSAA playoffs. In the 2014 season, with the victory at Urbana, Coach Neese became the winningest coach in Piqua High School history. Coach Neese is no stranger to be inducted into Hall of Fame. This will be his 6th Hall of Fame induction, including being inducted by the Central Catholic in 2009, Baldwin Wallace in 2018, Lima Pee-wee football in 1996, Miami Valley Football Coaches Association in 2017, and the Ohio High School Football Coaches Association in 2018. While Coach's winning record and multiple championships will be what many people remember, it is the impact he has made on the many lives of the young men he has coached and men he has coached that will be immeasurable. Coach Neese still resides in Piqua with his wife Alden, and they have 3 children, Travis, Alex, and Emma. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Neese.
I had to jot down a few things. We've been busy this week. I was gonna, my biggest fear was we were gonna have to come here tonight and Greenville to beat us Friday night. So I definitely wanted to make sure that we had everything covered as we were going through. So I did write a couple things down. But being the last speaker, it's always good to be able to comment on a couple things that I've heard originally. As Ken, think about this. Can you please stand up for a second? Ken, can you stand up? Moose, can you stand up? And Brian, can you stand up? The three of you guys. Okay, you guys are inducting me into the Hall of Fame. And in 1992, these were my three running backs. Okay, along with Scott Beaker. And he alluded to the fact that we lost the game. You guys can sit down. First time, well, we threw the ball 28 times that game. All right, and those are our three running backs as we're rolling. So by the second time that we played Troy, we're playing at Welcome Stadium, and we somehow said we got to find a ground game here. And so we worked the thing out, and we're able to get things situated in the second half. But that whole week, I was thinking in my mind, my God, I could start my first year as Piqua's football coach, the great Piqua-Troy rivalry. They played, 150 games or whatever, and I start off 0-2 in 1 year. So as a result, I'm thinking, I appreciate what these guys are doing, but it just occurred to me, and Tara, that's what I was writing down. I had a red pen, I was writing down, I was thinking, my God, somebody's going to realize that I had all these people, and as a matter of fact, we were just throwing the ball. But you got to keep in mind, the quarterback at the time, we were splitting quarterbacks between the two deals, so it sounded good at the time. Secondly, we heard that the baseball team defeated Fairfield, and what were they, the number 1 team in the nation? Wouldn't a coach like that at least be deserving of being in the Hall of Fame? I'd like to introduce Rick Conley, who's in the Hall of Fame. Certainly, your dad tells that story every time I see him. Every time I see him. I saw him at the gas station. Last time I saw him at the gas station, same story. Yeah, Dad didn't know that he looked over and said to Nick Myring, "All right, am I right?" He always says Nicky was standing right next to me. Looked over and said, "We're going to kick their ass." Same story he tells every time. So I appreciate being able to hear that story too. Well, anyway, real quickly here, I was at Graham High School. Graduated from Ball Walls, as they said. I was at Graham High School for a couple years. They had 2 head coaches in 2 years, and they were grooming me to be the third one. And I was a little reluctant, possibly, to stay there. And I got a tip that they had a social studies open. So they told me to go see Ed Burke. A guy named Ed Burke. He's in charge of everything. Okay. So they told me to go see Ed Burke. So I go down and talk to Ed Burke, and Ed Burke says, "We'll go get go down to the Board of Education, go find out, what forms you have to fill out. Don't say anything to anybody, I'll just deal with me." So I go down to the Board of Education, and I meet Mitch Pedroff. So if those of you who don't know Mitch Pedroff is his assistant superintendent. Mitch was a tough guy. Mitch is a tough guy. So I walked in and I said, "I'm here to apply for a job." And he kind of kept looking me over, and he said, "Well, we need football coaches. Are you a football coach?" And I happened to be dressed in the Bill Neese outfit, which is the blue shorts. At that time, they had black shorts. So that was great. So I had black shorts, white shirt, white socks on. I said, "Yeah." He said, "Okay, let me get on the phone for a second." So he calls Ed Burke. Ed Burke says, "Yeah, I've already talked to him. We got it situated." So the next thing you know, I'm on staff. And now I'm looking, and I've heard it now a couple times, 31 years later. I'm looking at 31 years later, and people say, "Well, how have you stayed so long? Why did you stay so long? Didn't you ever want to do something else?" And you got to remember, when I got this job, when I inherited this job, and Steve Maggot moved up to the athletic director spot, when I inherited the job, I inherited 6 Hall of Famers. Now, I didn't know at the time. You don't sit there and say, "Well, yeah, these guys are going to be Hall of Famers." When you met them in high school, they didn't seem like they were going to be Hall of Famers sometimes at the time. But, we have a saying in Piqua, it's easier to corral a wild horse than to breathe life into a dead one. And we've had some people that test that theory pretty well. And the thing is that we inherited 6 Hall of Famers, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and I was trying to do the counting, I think 5 of them are in the room right now that we got, correct? Who's the only one that's not here on that team?
Mitchell.
Kevin Johnson. Kevin Johnson would be the only one, which is why we threw 29 times. I'm going to blame it on him. But, you know, 31 years later, our program has come a long way. It really has. You know, we started off, and you come to one of our games, and we've got TV on the sideline. We got a hut with TV on the sideline that they go sit and they get drinks, and you know they watch replays of stuff. Our weight room is state of the art. We got a replay board, you know, up on the top, and you know, back when we started, you know, we would have to go to away games and string headphones with the wire, take them from the top and bring them down. And then I wish Ed Burke was here because he had an idea one time. He got us new headphones, and they were double ears. I refuse to wear them, your dad wore them. They were double ears, and you had to press a button when you talked, and then release it, and press a button. But they would only work if the 5-foot antenna was raised. So Max is walking around trying to get the head straight. And that's the kind of technology, when you think about it. Our headphones right now everything's self-encapsulated. And I don't know if everybody notices it. But as a result, you see stuff like that, and you just are amazed at how stuff has changed over the 30 years from when we first started, you know, this whole operation. But I would really like to thank some people as we go through. Obviously, I want to thank all the football players that are here. It's unbelievable that we were able to do that. We've had all together in the span of that 31 years, think about this one, we have 16 Hall of Fame football players during that time period. And that's a ton of people, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more coming up. There's a lot of people that are going to be deserving of it, and I think that's very, very key for the whole deal. I'd like to thank those players. I would like to thank my family. I have my wife here. You said you're celebrating your 25th wedding anniversary. We will be dealing with 35th wedding.
Do the math, honey. X's and O's, 87.
The point would be that we're hoping one of us is going to be celebrating. But you know, we appreciate that, and I appreciate, you know, Velvet had the biggest job tonight, and the biggest job tonight was heading up to Lima to bring the other guest with us. We went up to Lima and found Big Rose. Brought her back, my mom, so I'd like to give a round of applause for her. You know, one of the best Italian cooks in Lima, and we come in tonight and they have an Italian smorgasbord. And I'm not sure how much she ate. I think I looked over, she was eating a little bit. Got both my sons back here. Both my sons are following in the family business. They're both coaches, and we're very proud of those guys. And then Emma flew in out of the country for a while, came back in and stopped for a visit here. We enjoy seeing her. I'd also like to thank, we've had I've worked for 4 excellent athletic directors. You know, Coach Maggot being one, Chip Harris being another one, and then Mr. Perk be the third one, and then Dave Palmer, who he's not here tonight. I think we all know why. So we'll at least give him a little bit as we go through. And I don't think he's here because I do. If anybody ever gets a chance to witness Ed Perk versus Dave Palmer, all right, it's outstanding because he just grills him 24 hours a day about what he's wearing, all the things he's doing, and it is truly amazing. But the final people I'd like to thank as I'm going through my list here real quick, because again, I always seem, every time I do something like this, I always seem to forget somebody, and then as soon as you sit down, God, they're sitting right in front of me. Did that at my first banquet. I introduced 70 kids. I forgot one kid. And, you know, it ruined this whole banquet. And so I want to definitely make sure I'm getting everybody thanked in the entire room. Damien, I see you over there. I know you're part of the deal there too. You're back rolling. But I want to make sure that I also thank our assistant coaches. And I think our assistant coaches have just been great. I don't know if people understand the schedule. Our last 72 hours, we're playing the last place team in the league. All right? In the last 72 hours, here's how they operate. You know, we've got to play the game along with the week. Got to play the game, and then everybody. We have a rule that by 8 o'clock in the morning, okay, your grades have to be done. So every one of our players has got to be graded. Every individual play. So they choose. Half of them choose to stay after the game, and they do their grades then. Other assistants come in early in the morning. But whatever it is, 8 in the morning. So those guys have been at the stadium since 8 in the morning or 1 o'clock. You know, last night. They've been working at it most of the day. I think they left around 3 o'clock, and then they'll be in tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. They'll work most of the day working on film, and then it starts all over again Monday. It's just a never-ending cycle as you got to go through it, and you can't let up. You can't let up even if it's somebody that's not very good, because any given night they could be good. So I really appreciate those guys being here tonight. I got most of them with me tonight. If you'd like to stand up, we got our offensive coaches that work with the offense. We got Darren Johns and Troy Old. Our defensive coaches, we've got Travis Neese, we've got Josh Smith, and we've got Eric Barger. And I think these guys, the biggest thing about these guys, I'm forgetting coaches. Okay. Great. And you know, the thing about these guys, and I stress it quite a bit, these guys teach football. They don't necessarily coach football. They coach on Fridays, but they teach football all the time. And everybody can just pop a pair of shorts on and put a whistle on and go out and yell at somebody and tell them to do this and do this and do this. But these guys understand what it's like to actually have to teach the thing from the beginning, to have an understanding of what to do, the expectations of how to do it, how to teach it, and then what happens if it doesn't get done right. You know, what are you going to do? So I get so many times I go to games, younger teams, and I see, coaches, and I hear that same thing all the time. Oh, we just went over that last week of practice, or we just did that 10 times in practice. Well, those are the things that, see, that's everybody can coach that. What I'm saying is you have to be able to teach it. And that's why these guys are in that film room. They're making clips, they're sending it to their players, they're making sure that everybody understands what's going on, getting practice schedules organized, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I think they do a heck of a job, and I would be remiss if I didn't say we have two other coaches that have been with me for a pretty long time too. They're off and doing other things now. Jake Conley, if you remember Jake Conley, and if you remember Brett Colahan, those are two of our coaches that were outstanding for us over the course of the years. And also we lost two coaches. We lost John Apple, we lost Big Bomb, and then we also lost Finn. So those two guys were definitely important, in our stories. And I appreciate everything they do. I know I get a decent amount of credit for stuff sometimes. Sometimes deserved, sometimes not deserved, and blame, most of the time deserved. But as a result, I really think these guys have been with us all the time. They're very loyal. We don't have that guy ever that comes out and is over there going, well, I don't know what he's doing. I wouldn't have done it that way. We don't have that. And I think it's a very tight-knit organization. And I'm very happy with what they've done. Can't believe, that I'm in this Hall of Fame. Like I said, if you get that many players, if you get 16 players in the Hall of Fame, I would assume you get the Hall of Fame. I mean, just by winning a couple games here and there alone, I kind of stumbled onto the thing. So I could have still been at Graham back there, but I eventually worked my way here. I appreciate everything, so thank you very much.
Do you know who told him about the social studies job? So,
You?
did you want to know?
Couple things.
I heard
First
it
of
was
all,
you, Grandma. It was
on the
preaching.
so forget it.
It was preaching.
You always worry about
They
that.
were asking me,
Right, 100%.
it was some good to the dog.
And I did it again. I don't know why I did it. Well, I know why, because I got Rick Gold, in which Coach D saved me. Hall of Fame, legendary baseball coach Rick Gold, been in the Athletic Hall of Fame. Please, another round of applause.
Thanks for
As I'm wrapping up,
I'm glad you didn't thank your
would be
parents
remiss
for
if I did not mention
refinancing your
this. I got this
in
over.
college.
Why did you pick Hall of Fame weekend to be homecoming? And then you got a football coach who's in the middle of the season, and it kind of sounded like it was a good idea at the time because we were originally supposed to do it in January, when it's not football season. You got inducted, and well, weather happens, and then so we have to push it off. So we thought it would be a good idea until the week of, and coach is in the middle of trying to get ready for a game, and then he's like, got the next one. So it's never a convenient time as your coach, you're always on. So, but I would say it adds though to everyone else that got in. Congratulations to everyone. I was looking as an athletic director, you get to look at the statistics, and you're looking at Kyle's stats and getting in the state. You look at Tara's teams that absolutely just pounded people. Tara, we didn't talk about the scores. Back then it wasn't round scoring, it was 15, you played to 15, you only could score when you had the ball. The scores were 15-2 oftentimes, 15-3, we weren't even close. When I look at Kayla, and Kayla, you didn't, no bowling was, you had. And here you are, and you bowl it, and you get started with the great Mr. Palmer, who's at Piqua South. That helps. The bookman, the stories I hear in the 8mm film that I saw, I mean, great stuff. And of course, Ken, I've always enjoyed hearing the story, even much as your dad tells the story about Warriors there around and where they come, and then he had a little bit more colorful language to it than yours, but I always enjoy listening to that stuff. So again, I say Pete's not here tonight, and Pete if you didn't know Pete was a good football player, but he's a great human being, and he was a difference maker for that football team, and I really appreciate the fact that we have great people that are going in tonight. I would ask that we can get all of 6 of you that are here tonight for a picture, a group of us, a group of you, and we get those pictures together. We'll do that here at the conclusion. So Mr. Bachman closes up. Thank you very much again for being here.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand and with me offer a standing ovation for the newest member of the Piqua Athletic Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, as you heard all of the honors that these 7 have accumulated over their year, can you believe there was any reason that they shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame? Of course not. They all deserve it. I used the word all in my notes 183 times. I practiced. But all Ohio, all district, all state, we heard a lot of that tonight. That's why I'm in the Hall of Fame. This concludes our induction ceremony. We thank each and every one of you for being with us for this very special evening. Good night, and may God bless each and every one of you.